Hey everyone, it's Bridget here, and today I wanted to talk about indigos, crystal kids, starseeds, galactic connections, and all of them, and how they're intertwined, because they really are very connected. So let's start with starseed. Okay, so the idea is we have a soul, right? Yeah? And that time is not linear, so we have multiple incarnations, right? Yeah, okay. So from this soul perspective, we can have multiple incarnations on all different planes. We can have them on all Earth lives, but we can also have them in cosmic, galactic, ET lives. A lot of different things, in a lot of different densities, different high frequency, lower frequency, a lot of different things. And the soul wants to experience everything because it wants to understand more of itself, more of its divine nature. So there are souls that have more, I guess you could call it advancement, but they've experienced, they've gone through ascension. They've become high density beings. A lot of them are 6 density beings, like really advanced, benevolent, connective, infinite, extraterrestrial kind of civilizations. So these soul experiences, thus, then, are looking to really kind of go back in and help others, help other soul experiences, help other civilizations wake up and experience themselves and remember who they really are as this infinite level. So that is really what a starseed is it's this soul that's experienced very high frequencies that have said, hey, I want to come back to Earth, I'm going to go to Earth, and I am brave and courageous, and I know that I can come into Earth, and with complete blinders, by the way, I'm going to incarnate. I'm not even going to remember that I'm divine. I'm not even going to remember that in my other life right here, I'm just flying on spaceships and remembering my infinite connections. So it's like, okay, come down, blinders on, maybe incarnate into, an abusive family situation, all kinds of random things. And the interesting part is, and the risk is that if this incarnational soul doesn't remember within this life that they are this higher density being, if they don't remember this greater story that's going on, they'll get caught in the karmic loop in this kind of 25,000 year cycle here on Earth, and they'll stay in the 3rd density. They can't go back to 6. They have to then go through the cycle again. And so it's a very courageous thing for starseed souls to come in and do this. So likely most of you, probably all of you watching this video, are starseeds. You are this soul. You are this greater aspect that has evolved a lot, experienced a lot, that has been courageous enough to come back down to Earth and go, let's play this game. Let's help these people wake up. And let me wake myself up, so I'm not kind of screwed in this cycle. So it's a very low percentage, by the way. It's only 1% of Earth's population who are actually the starseed soul energy. And only 10% then of that percentage remember that they're starseeds. So you're looking at most of them, like 90% of them, forgot. It's crap. So it's an interesting thing, and I think at this point the Earth's population right now is 7.4 billion, something like that, in 2016. So that would be about 74 million people have this starseed energy. And the thing is all of this is divinely orchestrated. Right now, all of Earth's humanity, all the different devas of Earth and all the beings connected to it through all time, they're wanting us to wake up, and so it's all planned, and they know that really we only need that 74 million to come to Earth. And so when the starseeds, when we come to Earth, our job is to, 1, remember. That's like first thing. It's like, okay, I gotta remember what the mission is, and a lot of us have forgotten, but if you're watching this, you probably are getting that there's a mission. So it's remembering that you came down and you're gonna do something. And then it's to fully express that mission. And it's to fully express that mission here on Earth. A lot of times being in the Starseed community, it is very aloof. It's very out there. It's very higher dimensional because obviously that's the energy that's more comfortable. But if you're down here and you incarnated, first of all, you're human. You're human in this incarnation, and I can't stress that enough, because without acknowledging that you're human, you can't do anything. And without acknowledging that you're also a starseed simultaneously, you can't do anything either, because then you're like bound by the constructs of this incarnational game. So it's really about bridging those two realities. And a lot of you have asked me to talk more about my ET experiences, so I'm going to do that. So to bring it home, to kind of give an example of what this is like. So when I did my ET regression to remember my abduction, I'm regressed, I'm like fully gone in another realm, on the spaceship, getting abducted with my family, this whole thing when I'm a kid, remembering it all, viscerally experiencing all the cell memory of what we've ever experienced, even in other lives, is within us. So it's dormant and it's accessible. So I'm in that space, I'm in the regression, and Barbara Lamb, the lady that did the regression for me, asked this question. And I thought, it's such a good question. And I'm getting taken in the middle of the night against my will, with my family, my brother's crying, this whole thing's happening, and Barbara Lamb says, Bridget, to my younger self, Bridget, why are you okay with this? You know, like they're taking your family, middle of the night, why are you okay with these ETs doing this? Because I was calm during this abduction memory. And I said, so I'm in that space, and all of a sudden the answer came. And there was this tall, big being that came into my consciousness, and I'm still that younger self. So I said, because he's here, because he told me that it's safe, because he told me that this is what I'm meant to do. And she said, well, who is he? And in regressions, the questions prompt the opening of that memory. So she said, who is he? And then all of a sudden I got to see him more close up, and he looked kind of like a Zeus type figure. I call him Zeus because he's just this tall, big, gray-haired, classic looking, he could almost be a part of Thor's reality, looking there at me. And I said, well, he's me. And then all of a sudden, whoosh, I rushed, like my vision rushed to this planet, to a different planet, and somehow I knew immediately that it was Pleiades. And there was this council, and this is before I had done a lot of research, so it's not imprinted by watching a bunch of other people's stuff. It's just, it was fresh, it was real. And there were all these council members, and there was this guy that I saw, this Zeus guy, and all of them were gathering, and they said, what are we going to do? We need to help humanity on this next round of ascension. Who's going to go down there? And one of them kind of joked with this Zeus guy and said, hey, you should go down there and incarnate. And he goes, okay. And so first of all, I'm bawling hysterically. I want to tap back in so I can deliver the transmission, but it was it was the deepest seed of light and love and knowing that I had ever experienced, in this life. It was, I remember why I am here. I remember how it all got put about, and I remember what I'm meant to do. It was that transmission, it was that remembrance, seeing this Pleiadian and connecting with him. And so who he is he's me. He's another soul aspect of me. It's another incarnation that I'm having simultaneously, and he incarnated into me, and I am him. And and it's him, but it's he incarnated into, his frequency, his wisdom is then in me. And so it's connected. See, so now we have the Starseed. We see how that soul energy comes in, and it's also your galactic counterpart or your other incarnation that you have on another planet. That's the same thing too. Now we can have many of different incarnations seeding into this soul we need as many memories as we can get. So we might have Pleiadian, Orion, Arcturian, all these Sirian, all these different connections to remember. But in my experience, there's more dominant ones that are going to be guides, that are actually existing simultaneously and guiding us from that space, as well as in us, living as us. And it's so beautiful. I mean, a lot of you know, a lot of you have felt this, and some of you haven't, and so I invite you to explore it. And also, there's beautiful, incredible transformational soul energies that are from extraterrestrial civilizations that aren't so pretty, that are very necessary information for us to bring in too. So it's not to neglect those incarnations as well. I mean, everyone wants to be a Pleiadian. It's going to take all incarnational wisdom to remember and to wake up in this life and to go down a light path. That's really another really interesting point to make, is that we want to cling on to these beautiful, benevolent, light lives, and it's like, no, we need to remember all of them. We need to remember when we blew up, Maldek. We need to remember, our dark sorcery lives. We need to remember them all, because one of the tendencies that can happen to starseeds especially is you're so sensitive and you feel this extra power within you, and you can go down the dark direction. So we have to stay really extra balanced, and stay balanced on not checking out and just not even being in this realm, but being here on Earth, as well as not being just like arrogant and going, I'm going to use this power and kind of take over this realm. So it's a really delicate balance that we've been given, and it's amazing. And so the other parts that we have assisting us, which you've heard about too, are the indigo, crystal, rainbow energies. So there's starseeds coming in, and this is all to my understanding what I've all put together, but starseeds coming in, and then the different levels in which they remember, the levels of light, the levels of sensitivity, the levels of extrasensory perceptions will grow with each generation. If all of a sudden, one of these freaking rainbow kids incarnated 100 years ago in pioneer days or something, they just kind of be screwed and likely commit suicide or something like that. The frequency of the culture and the place and the realm has to in some way support to some degree that incarnational being. So as you can see, over the past 100 years or so, the first wave were these indigos that started coming in and say like the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, the first waves. So someone like my dad, and they were the first, and they had extra light that came in. And this is working with Arcturus. So it's the Arcturus gate. More light is let to be in the body, more remembrance in the body for those beings. And then say I came and there's a bit more light in me, a bit more remembrance, and I would still be on the indigo wave. And then say my brother, he's more of a crystal kid, and then his son is just, now at this point they would be more rainbow, and these kids too are almost one codon away from actually being hybrids, these hybrids that we're going to meet that are pure extraterrestrial genetics. So you can see how all of this is fitting together. And then the hybrid thing, it's like I'm a hybrid. Well, I mean, we're all hybrids because we come from modified genetics all through, Earth's creation process. But also there's more of a hybridization that has happened through like the abduction program, where you get extra ET genetics, or the third strand of DNA turns on. So we are becoming this other type of being. And the key is just to live out and to remember, and then to fully live our mission and to fully express ourselves, and not in an imposition way, but in an authentic way. And it's really just, I want to say it's really just us being here. It's really just us radiating that energy. But a lot of people can get caught in not doing anything then. So we have the ability, because we have the frequency. It's more challenging in ways because we're sensitive to this realm, but we have the ability, we have the wisdom to go, okay, I get it, I'm here, now what can I do? Now what can I really do to help? And to physicalize it and ground it into real life. Like, what are you going to do to help someone? What are you going to do to help the environment? physically. Not meditating, physically. And meditating. So it's a really delicate balance, but we can do it because we chose to do it, and we're badasses. And all the humans incarnating right now that aren't, which we are too, remember? All the humans incarnating now, they're badasses too. Are you kidding me? Anyone incarnating right now is just, I mean, it's such an awesome time, and it's so bold for these souls to come in and check out this realm and check out this transformation. So really everyone has a significant role. So there can't be any arrogance and like, oh, I'm a starseed and you're not, or something like that, because really anyone even on the first kind of like level of karmic wheel, theirs is just as significant as ours, and they all intertwine and play together. So I just was excited to share all this information and how I see it morphing and fitting together, because it really does. They're not separate ideas. Everything's simultaneous. Everything's kind of the same thing, morphing into different perspectives. So I hope that this was helpful for you. And please comment below. Like, tell me about what your experience has been. Tell me if you remember. Tell me if you've forgotten. And we'll continue the conversation. I have another video, because this is every Tuesday, so come back on Tuesdays. I have another new video out on my personal channel, which is again youtube.com/the Bridget Nielsen. And so you can visit that if you want a bit more this week from me. And subscribe below, and let's continue this conversation. This is awesome, and I'm loving just to get more interactive with you guys and put out more videos. So exciting times. Starseed out, human out, ET out.